Okay, I'm going to record right now. This is Dr. Anna Stid coming to you live from Sedona, Arizona, and I'm going to give a presentation about how to transform your triggers into treasures in about 2 minutes. So here we are, post-election day, and I'm sure some of you are very devastated and some of you are very elated. Either way, I know that in our heart of hearts, in all humanity, we all want to create harmony within ourselves and unity and harmony with others. And of course, that starts with us. And so, in order to do that, I'm going to teach you how to regulate your nervous system because when we have an upset or we're really triggered, then what can happen, or basically what happens, is our critter brain, the one that reacts, not the one that responds, which is our cortex brain, our thinking brain, our rational brain, our making solution brain, that gets hijacked. Whenever we get triggered, the part of our the ability to rationally think with our higher cortex part of our brain always gets hijacked whenever we're triggered. Because of millions and millions and millions of years of evolution, we have these reactionary responses that have kept us and our ancestors alive for many, many, many millions of years. So when you're going up against that kind of neurology and evolution, you can see why that can sort of have a hold over one's ability to think rationally. So, one way or a few ways that you can always tell that you're in a triggered response is that it's like almost like a panic feeling. There's you can quick to anger, you want to lash out, which is that fight response, or you just want to go hide, which is like or shut down, which is a freeze response. And then we also have the run response, like the anxiety response. I just want to go run and hide, just or just go do something or whatever. And so all of these are fight or flight responses or triggered responses. And sometimes that can come with ability to feel. There's physiology that can be related to it, kind of nervous tics, like kind of moving, like shallow breath, heat, flushing of the face. These are all ways of physiology to show that we can be triggered, to run away, to suddenly be in a part of a conversation and then just have to get up and leave. These are all triggered responses. Okay, this is how we deal when we're in a fight or flight situation or freeze, and oftentimes also fawn. A fawn is another expression of this, which means to people please at the expense of yourself. And so after this big election that we just had, where pretty much half of the country has been divided against the other, and also across so many different topics across the board, I just want to give back to humanity and give you a body and biohack, a neurological hack, where you can start to calm your nervous system, where you can start to come back to self-regulation, we can come out of that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response and get the higher cortex turned back on so that you can start to respond instead of being shut down, whether there's a panic or devastation or even elation. Because sometimes there can be elation and then a devastation that follows, right? Because what comes up must come down, and I'm somehow vice versa. That's how life flows, with these ebbs and flows. And so I'm going to give you a an exercise today. So basically, one of two things. If you can take your pulse like this, right underneath where your thumb is, where your pulses are, like that, and you can check your fever, then you can do this exercise. Okay, great. So, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to just offer up some seemingly, opposites or complementary pairs of things. And what I'm going to have you notice is how you feel when I say certain pairs, and then when I say other certain words that may be triggering. For example, let's say night and day, right? Night and day. Every day we experience night and day, and chocolate or vanilla, spring and fall, winter and summer, Now we're going to step into a little different territory and we're going to go masculine and feminine, non-binary, abortion, war, guns, or gun control. Okay. Now maybe you're start to feel a little, maybe those feelings of feeling triggered, a little anxiety, a little the quickening of the pulse. And of course now Democrat, Republican, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Okay. So maybe you're neutral to all of these things, and maybe something actually created a little bit of a trigger in you. Well, good. If you have a trigger, then great. Or if none of those things were triggering for you, just think about something in the past week or recently that just really upset you. Okay. Maybe and maybe in that moment you didn't have the agency or the voice that you wanted, and you just felt the reaction and you couldn't really do anything about it. So just go to that place, okay? And so just notice where you are on a scale of 1 to 10 in your trigger. Like one being not very much, five like middle of the road, but maybe you can take a few breaths and you'll be fine with it. And then 10 like so triggered, like you've got to leave the room or something. Like you can't handle it. Okay? So wherever you are on that scale, even if it's a little bit of a trigger, we'll utilize that. Okay. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize the pulse points on your body, which is here on your left or right hand on both sides. Okay. So each of these pulse points connects to the Chinese medicine of of acupuncture. And so each of these points represents different organs, systems, or elements like fire, earth, water, metal, and wood. And then you have this area here in the thenar eminence of your right underneath your thumb, that are your governing vessel and your conception vessel. Another place to find those two is above and below your lips, just like that. Okay. And so the other place on that I'm going to draw attention to is right here, right in the middle of your forehead. These are your emotional points right here. This is what connects the brain and the body emotional points. Okay, so this is the emotional points or the deeper recesses of the mammillary brain and also the critter brain or the amygdala, where our trigger reaction response comes from. So if you are able to take your pulse like this, now I'm going to invite you to do your pulse in a little different way. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you turn your hand towards yourself. And then you're going to take your other hand and you're going to wrap it around. So that way it looks like this. So you've got the bottom three fingers on the pulse points, and then you've got your index finger here right on your thumb pad. Okay. And so what that's going to do is it's going to get the GBCV, which is here. And if you're on your left side, you're going to access water, wood, and fire. Okay. And then over here, on the right side, you're going to access fire, earth, and metal. Okay. So basically, you're going to get all of the points. And what you're going to do is like, you're going to just touch it lightly, and then you're going to press in a little deeper. So light. So you're just barely touching. That's light. So you're not really pressing at all. You're just holding it right there. That's light. And then you press in a little bit, just like you're checking for your pulse. That's deep. Okay. So there's light and there's deep. And then there's light, and then there's deep. Okay. So go ahead and see if you can access that trigger. Now I'll help you out. Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Okay. Pro-abortion or against abortion. Guns and guns control. Okay. Most of those things are so triggering for more than half the population, either side. Okay. Or you can just think about something that your boss said, your relationship, your significant other said, or your child said, your family, or a friend said that really triggered you. And either way, we're just going to utilize those triggers and we're going to turn them into treasures. Okay. So what happens again, like I said, your trigger will hijack your ability to rationally think. And this is your ability to think outside the box, your ability to problem solve, your ability to stay calm and rational under pressure. So all of these things, the reason why your physiology decided to do that for you is because for a perfect example of this, just going to backtrack a little bit, is that you're not paying attention. You're on your phone doing this. You're on your phone and you're like looking down and you see the light just turn green and you know you can go across the crosswalk and you start to walk and all of a sudden there's this bus that you don't see until the last minute out of the corner of your eye that turns the corner really fast and you're not really paying attention, but your critter brain is paying attention. And all of a sudden you just jerk back like this. And you're like, you weren't really paying attention, but had your critter brain not been in control in that moment, you would have been a flat pancake. Okay. So that is why millions of years of evolution has basically is that ability to basically override your thinker brain. Because if you were to like think about it and like have and like, oh, there's a bus, and then I'm like this, and I'm like, oh, the crosswalk, but he doesn't see, like, if you were to sit there and think about how to cross the road in that moment, you would have been a pancake. So what happens is that your critter brain takes over and like knee-jerk reaction, and it saves your life. And you're still living and breathing to this day. Okay, so that is a perfect example of why we have this kind of evolution. So this is how it serves you. Also, because of your subconscious, unconscious brain literally takes in millions of points of information in a second, it's just like colors and lights and flashes and this and that. So then eventually your brain has to pare that down and pare that down to certain preferences and your filter and all the things. So again, without getting into all of that, those of you in hypnosis and NLP probably know what I mean. So that's the deeper work, but today we're going to take a very beautiful exercise that can at least just get you out of the trigger response so that you can start to come back and like regulate your nervous system. Is it going to solve the problem of why you have the trigger? Not really. However, it will take the edge off of the trigger. So what I'm going to show you today is literally like if you got a cut and then we put like some kind of ointment, antibacterial in it, or antiviral, and we clean that cut up, and then we put the Band-Aid on it, and then we start the healing process, right? You make it so it's not bleeding anymore. So we're gonna stop the bleeding, but we're not necessarily gonna do the healing for you today, but we are gonna stop the bleeding, okay? So this is how it's gonna go. So you're going to conjure up that trigger, and it doesn't matter what side you start with first. We're going to do both, okay? So we're going to do both sides, and then we're going to do just a gentle, light touch, and then you're going to go a little deeper like you're looking for your pulse. So just light, and then deep, and light, and deep. So it's not just like, you don't want to cut off your circulation. You do not need to hold it that tightly. So just light, and then just a little gentle press is all you need. You don't have to like dig in there and like, I gotta find my pulse. No, you don't have to do that. So again, jazz hands towards your face. Then you're gonna go behind. You're gonna wrap your fingers around. So the bottom three right here are on the pulse points, and then that index finger's right here on your thumb pad. Okay, so now you're gonna do this fancy thing. We're gonna go 90-degree turn. Okay, ready? 90-degree turn. Beautiful. Now you're gonna go right over your forehead like this. So you're now connecting all those organ points and your brain together. So this is the neurology circuit right here. So now we're going to take it one step further, and we're going to take out the thinker brain so that we can access the deeper recesses of the brain, which is the amygdala and the mammillary, where your trigger response lies. And you're going to cut out the frontal cortex brain, because that's not the part that's being triggered. It's just being hijacked. So we have to take it out and what you're gonna do is you're gonna tuck your chin down, you're gonna look down, you're gonna bend over. You remember the thinker? Yeah, like the thinker. We're gonna be like the thinker. And so you're gonna go light touch, and you're gonna hold that. It's good for 10 seconds. Normally I like to do it for at least 20, 25, 30 seconds. And a light touch, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you're going to go deeper. You're going to press in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Also, while you're doing this, take deep belly breaths. I forgot about that part. Deep, deep belly breaths. So we'll do it for 5 seconds both sides. So light again, and take a deep breath in, and then all the way out. I recommend breathing in your nose and out your mouth as the breath of connection. And go deeper now. I noticed that you might start to yawn. Take a deep breath. These are all really good signs that your nervous system is starting to calm down and to self-regulate. This is a good thing. And then maybe you were feeling a little bit like this and it's really uncomfortable and you start to breathe and it starts to melt, okay? Like an emotional melt. Okay, so now you're gonna do the other side, the other hand that you didn't do. And same thing. You're gonna wrap around, palm on the back, and then you're gonna wrap around like this. So your three fingers are here on the bottom, index fingers on the thumb pad. And again, you're gonna do that twist and you're gonna check your fever. And so now you've got everything hooked up to the other organs in the body and connected to the brain. And now we're gonna take out the thinker brain so that we can access the deeper brain. And you're gonna lean forward, take deep belly breaths. 8, 7, 6, breath in your nose. 4, out your mouth. 3, 2, 1. Now you're gonna press in a little deeper. Take a deep belly breath in your nose and out your mouth. 6, 5, 4. Another deep breath in. 1. Good. So just notice how you feel. Now see if you can. Now I'm gonna bring up that trigger again. Ready? Abortion. Abortion rights. Pro-abortion, against abortion, guns, gun control, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Now notice is like maybe do those triggers that were there, did they lessen a little bit? Like maybe down a couple points and maybe all together, which is great. So if you're still really triggered, you're just gonna go back and redo this and just do it for longer, like light and then deep. And the other side light and then deep and just go for a longer amount of time. So maybe do it for 20 to 30 seconds. And so this is a perfect way to help you turn your trigger into your treasure. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this. And you can find me at Desert Colibri Chiropractic. I'm on Facebook, or my Instagram handle is Anna Stid. And you can reach out to me there and please leave a comment or a hello and like how it helped you. I'd love to know on either of those pages. Thanks so much. Take care.